Welcome back to my stream. I gotta comb this hair. Today we're gonna have a short segment on immigration and how it affects your country and the existing demographic changes in your neighborhood. I'm gonna talk about that today as I comb my hair. The things happening to the city that are unwelcoming to you, you know. You haven't realized that your community is now speaking a lot of Spanish, right? You ever been you ever feel that you're being replaced at your job, right, by other people? You ever feel, you feel the same distancing from American values. You're not hearing English on the street. You're hearing Spanish. Well, that's basically the concept of immigration and what's happening to the country right now. I'm headed north eventually. I am heading north spot to spot to locate an optimal spot for my home base. Hopefully, I find it, but my location will consist on two specific things: lack of high African American density and lack of high Hispanic density. Why? Because where there's Hispanic density, there's high African American density, and then overall quality of life takes a nosedive. If I get there and it's a touristy destination on my way up to Boston, and everyone's speaking English, and there's tourists, and there's people taking pictures, it's probably good. If it's small town Americana, right? Like New Jersey, Morristown, New Jersey, Roseau Park, New Jersey, and the businesses are still open, yes. If I get there and it's small town, but the businesses are defunct, right? Outdated, foreclosed businesses or whatever, I'm gonna move on and continue moving upwards. Why am I gonna do this? Because the changes of New York City, for example, have driven me out, have driven me to seek elsewhere based on my security and the security of my property, the security of my health, right? My health primarily, right? The drug use legalization issue, the physical ailment, right? Remember these demographics drive health on a nosedive, right? And it's dirtier, right? It's dirtier. It's more dangerous. There's drug use. There's intravenous drug use. There's pricking, as I already described on my stream. Abroad, right? You guys remember the Paris, France? 156 people got pricked by a dirty needle in the festival. So this is happening here in the thousands. People is getting pricked in the city in the thousand. It's when you sleep, and they're not just getting pricked; they're getting drugged, right? They're being touched inappropriately. They're being raped, and those are factors that come when there's high immigration. Because they proliferate. Like they're not mutually exclusive. Where there's high Hispanics, there's high African American demographic. Those two come together. They are not, because when there's only one side or the other and there's too much white, it's a small amount, because they're not able to, find a job, find a place to stay. But if they're able to really take over, then there's a really high density of African Americans. And then unfortunately, people like me feel unsafe. I feel unsafe every night out here. Why? For what's done to me in the train, for unwarranted violence, for beatings, right? Looking to hit me, looking to slash with knives and cut the inner lining of my jacket, looking to make me look dirty. The teeth pulling, right? Giving me gaps in the teeth, dreadlocking or gluing my hair. There are certain aspects that come from, tension between races in which I want nothing to do with that. I want to go up north and find a white small town community in which I can thrive, and nobody, and hopefully one that will see what I'm doing. Oh, this guy sleeps on that bench, but he's in the library every day, but he looks this good. Like, yeah, I see him. He sleeps on that bench, but look how good he look on that suit. That's what I want to do. But and I'm watching and I'm keeping my eye out for the language. That's how I'm, as a doctor. That's how I'm gonna identify the density, population density, and the amount of Hispanics or African Americans within the neighboring area just by listening. Why? Because anywhere else, right? You go to New Jersey, you're not gonna hear Spanish in high frequency unless you're in Newark. unless you're in the city. You see what I mean? You're not going to hear the hablando español. You're not going to hear people speaking Spanish. And I want to be far away from that because that brings unwanted threat. You know, it brings tension. It brings lack of safety, right? Lack of safety. Education takes a nosedive. It's just not safe. It's not safe. Where they are, it's not safe. They left even more dangerous people, right? They left behind environments that are extremely dangerous to your health, you know, and now they're here. And guess what they're doing? Well, unfortunately, some of them turn to crime, some of them make the environment or leave it exactly how they left their country. So I'm on my way soon. Hopefully by October, I should be exploring the North Coast. And hopefully I don't take that long. Hopefully I take less than a month, 2 months, and get out of there by November just to test the water, just to see if I find a sheltered area from the wind, right? In Boston, maybe freeze my ass, maybe not, maybe have a subway that's safe, that's empty at night that I could be at, and nobody will bother me. But the tension here it warrants escaping from it. It warrants having to leave. If you don't have no obligations in the city, it's best to move on. Best to move off from this place. At best, maybe the food stamps. So if I recertify my food stamp in October 1st, right? If I'm able to get food stamps again on October 1st and there's no problem with it, I'll move on and I'll go elsewhere. But it's serious. It's not a game. The dangerous in the city is becoming real critical. It's people on the street, touchy feely, drug use. This city is not for academics or for intellectuals. Intellectuals here take a nosedive. All right. This is not a California. This is not San Francisco. Right? And San Francisco's dirty as a motherfucker. But intellectuals thrive over there. Right? There's big offices. Those are headquarters for the most important tech companies in the world or whatever. Here, intellectuals take a nosedive. They're exposed to heavy narcotic. They're exposed to drugs. They're exposed to things that undoubtedly make you dumber. You know, like they make you dumber. They make you slow here. You know, you'll get drugged in the train inappropriately. You'll get fucking fentanyl contact out here. It will happen. You'll think you think, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna get doped up. And you end up spending three days in the train, unable to move here. They'll do that here. They don't care. The current demographic does not give a fuck. And the African American demographic and the Hispanic demographic in this city does not give a fuck. You'll pass out for those 3 days in that subway, unable to move, getting raped at night, pickpocketed, right? Being told to move, or the train knowing that you can't move will stay on the same trail for 72 hours just to make sure that you're able to walk before changing to the next train. MTA will know when you're immobilized by these monsters. Why? Because they don't respect your health. They don't care about your health. They'll kill you here. If you're careless and you return back to the train, you return back to their environment, you'll get killed in there, right? You'll catch HIV, syphilis, gonorrhea. You'll catch the whole rainbow thanks to these people. And unfortunately, that's what comes. Those are the negative effects that come when you have an immigration problem. When they have a really deep rooted issue in, you're technically in a migration, right? All roads lead to Rome, right? So you're within one of those cities that lead to Rome, in which there's people coming in and out, right, wanting to be here, and you're not listening to Latin anymore. You're listening to Spanish 24/7. Outside, all you see is black or Hispanic. You don't want to be there. You don't want to be in an area that's like that. You know, like if you don't identify with their culture, right? If you don't identify with a core liberalism, because they're not even progressive. If you don't identify with 100% core liberal, the city's not for you. You know, the city is not for you. And if you're on my side, if you're on the right way of doing things, and you're not a progressive, right? You're more conservative, right leaning, then it's even worse. It's even worse because you identify that your city's been taken over by a completely different demographic within a decade. You know, within a decade, you used to be safe out there. You used to go to sleep at night and nobody would bother you. Nobody would approach you. Someone here in the conditions the city is right now, instead of minding their own American damn business, they'll approach you within 35 minutes of you closing your eyes. They will. They will. That's not American. Americans mind their business. Americans is not looking at the backpack that whomever else has on the subway train, whatever computer, whatever cell phone. Who does that? Minorities and Hispanics. That's what they do, right? So you're now in an environment in which they're not minding their business, right? They're just like I explained multiple times, real Americana is living with a 1973 Ford Pinto, realizing that the neighbor could have a Ferrari. And that neighbor, that person don't want that Ferrari. He's not even thinking about it. That's not his car. His car is that piece of shit. And he loves that piece of shit. And he takes care of that piece of shit. He knows the neighbor has a Ferrari, but that's not in his mind. He's not thinking about that 24/7. To minorities and Hispanics, that Ferrari's on their mind 24/7. And not just the Ferrari, the beautiful wife that he has, the riding mower, right? The land mower that you could sit on and drive around and do the grass, the landscaping, the house, the personal property, the nice bicycle, the ATV, the motorcycle, whatever the neighbor has, they're balls deep in that, they're balls deep in their property. It's in their mind. They know what the neighbor has, right? And at even lower levels of poverty, they're talking about what food you had yesterday. You know, they deepen your business that way. You know, like, oh, I went to so and so's party. They had mac and cheese. They had turkey. They had, you know. Once you start getting into even deeper levels of poverty, they talking about the food, the type of food the neighbor has. And that's not American. That's not American. That's not even close to real American. You know, real American minds his own business, minds his own beeswax, walks straight and has horse mirrors to look ahead and not look left to right. But here, the demographic changed so much that people like me, right, that likes to illustrate lots of wealth, even living in the street, right, sleeping and sitting on a bench or wherever. It's, you know, I'm becoming, you know, in danger. I'm in danger out there. Why? Because they don't care what they do to you. They'll powder your nose. They'll spit in your mouth. They'll touch you inappropriately. They'll make fun of you. They'll expose their genitalia. They'll use their genitalia. They'll put their genitalia in their mouth. They'll do all types of shit. Why? Because they have no respect. They're not American. Inside, they're liberal. It's the complete opposite of being American, right? American values deep in New Jersey, right? Norristown, Roselle Park, leans conservative. It's right in the middle. It's centered. Has no idea how far left of the spectrum he is. He has no idea on which side he could be. He may lean on certain things like cannabis a little here, and then maybe in defense of his own neighborhood, he likes it a little bit to the right. But people here don't give a fuck about what they do, you know? So my goal is going up north, making sure that I smell no cannabis. I want to be in a community that I go, nobody has smoked weed next to me in the last 3 weeks. Yes, 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 no drugs. You know, I don't want to be smoking your shit. I don't want to be smelling none of that horse shit around me. Yes, I've made it. You know, like I've made it, right? And the language, no Spanish. You know, like no español, muy bien. No Spanish in the bathroom. Everyone's speaking English. Yes, yes, we're going safer inland. We're finding an area in which, by design, doesn't have these people because these people is going to continue doing this. They're going to take over the whole fucking world if they could, right? The whole continental United States. They will try to fucking dominate the whole motherfucker. I guarantee it. And before that, Texas and California is going to mow him down with an excavator, with a rolling pin. I guarantee it. They're going to try to take over, bro. They're already on path. They really want a foreign illegal to run the country. Trust me, a progressive, a thief, a corruption. You know, they really want someone in their side to become president of the United States in their favor. And Biden was that one. Biden was one of them that changed the demographic of New York City entirely. Between Biden, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Kamala Harris, changed the demographic of New York City within a single term. Within a single term, this place was overran by Hispanics overnight. It became unsafe for everyone, like that, in a snap of a finger, and everyone at that moment out of here. Why? Because they don't want to be next to that bullshit. They don't want to be assaulted on the train. They don't want to be having to tell the same man every day, every morning, yo, stop smoking weed on the train. You ain't smoking grass, nigga. You ain't smoking grass. You smoking plastic, homie. That shit smell like dog shit. They doing hardcore drugs next to you. They don't give a fuck. You think they give a fuck? They don't give a flying fuck about that. But that's how the city is. The cities live. The cities live. They get defensive when I tell them that the city's not for intellectuals, because it's true. I already said it yesterday. I said it like 3, 4 times yesterday. This city will fry an intellectual. Will fry him if he has to do some pre-calc, if he has to do some calculus, if even worse, if he has to do, statistics, capstone mathematics to graduate beyond the bachelor, MBA, or whatever, doctoral level math. He's fucked. He's fried overnight, right? By mistake, he falls asleep on that train. He wake up, 50% of his neurons that he created in school are now gone. Why? Because the demographic, because they'll live. You see, so New York is not safe for academics. Intellectuals are under attack. Their neurons are under attack left and right, in public, in the train, with dirty needles. It's every day. It's bombarded. They're bombarding your body and your blood with things that should not be there, with things that are not naturally occurring, that are not found in food. They're attacking your brain here. That's how dangerous libs are. You see, it's not like, and I thought that California was going to be a wonderful thing. I wonder how smoking weed in California is. I wonder how good California is. Or Colorado is. It's not good. It's not good. If you're smart, they're looking to drive your educational level to GED. You might have a doctorate degree, but if you're exposed to drugs long enough, they'll bring you down to GED. They'll put your intellectual capacity in a nosedive here. And you have to work in a corporate job, that means a dead end job. That means you're not gonna innovate in your job. That means you're not gonna perform at your optimal level. You're gonna be a fucking burnout. You're gonna be a fucking burnout every day of your life. You're gonna realize, what the fuck happened to me? Why wasn't I was a doctor, I was this and that. Well, you got exposed to drugs, motherfucker, and that's it. People are intellectuals like alcohol. That's basically the bare minimum. The only thing, the maximum, how liberal they could be is drink a single beer in a public setting. That's basically as liberal as an intellectual is going to be. He's gonna grab a cool one. He's gonna sip it. He's gonna relax. He's gonna pass out. Maybe have some food in between, and that's it. But the current demographic of the city will take someone that has to graduate college and will fry the shit out of him before he even makes it to that junior year. They will fry him before the junior year. He'll be fried. He's gonna be toast. He's not gonna be able to graduate. He's gonna be thinking outside the box. No, if I gamble, I failed my classes. If I'm a stock trader and this and that, and what's to blame? The drugs. Because I live my life. I know what that is. I already experiment with that. I know that this shit's gonna make you dumb. You're not gonna do basic algebra with that motherfucker. You're gonna do one program, right? You're gonna do one. You're gonna do one single freaking problem on cannabis, and that's it. You're not gonna be able to practice, pre-calc functions, right? Every step, 6, 7 steps to solve a problem. You're not gonna remember the whole steps. You might do one step, but you're not gonna have the memory or the intelligence required to pass certain courses. So the scientists in this city, students that are scientists or engineering in this city, are fucked. They are under attack by people who do not give a shit about your body. And that's where I need to draw the line. That's where I need to go north. I want to go up north, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and see if I feel welcome. See if I don't hear Spanish and perceive that there's no great majority of African American, because it's over. It's toasted. It's fried. It's GED level. It's basic education. They what they do with the curve once they legalize drugs, education takes a nosedive, right? The same way, the rapid pace in which neurons leave the brain the second you smoke a single blunt, right? The second you expose a human brain to drugs is how fast literacy takes a nosedive like that to the ground. Everyone is fried. Everyone's on coke. Everyone's smoking crack. Everyone's smoking coke. Everyone's smoking weed that looks like rubber. Everything doesn't smell natural. It's just synthetic. Everyone's on vape. Everyone's on vape pens. Nobody's smart. Nobody's smart, right? And they create the illusion that everyone's okay, but in reality, up here it's all fried. And I want to protect my brain. I've been here for 600 days, and these people here have done more than enough damage to my intellectual capacity, more than enough damage from all the neurons I created over 10 years of college. I'm looking to preserve my remaining neurons, right? So if they sacrifice some memory, right, for my educational career, for my scholarly, right, as a scholar doctoral level practitioner, right? If they sacrifice something, hopefully it was minimal from my entire educational career, because this city doesn't give a fuck about what it does to people. This city will drug you. It will sit next to you smoking hard narcotic, and you won't be able to do nothing but have to move away. It'll make you sick. It'll give you this runny nose that doesn't leave from all the drugs and all the shit they've been introducing in my face. And this shit is not gonna go away. I've had a runny nose for months now, thanks to these disgusting mongoloids. You know, it's real illness. They make people sick out here. They destroy their neurons. This city is not for intellectuals. If you want to graduate, transfer the heck out of here. Take your credits like you're gonna take all your how do you call it? Take your credits like you could hoard all your personal property and woof somewhere else in which there's no drug legalization, in which there's the demographic is not Hispanic or black, in an area in which you could pursue your academic career in vacuum, in a bubble, right? In a dorm, 24/7, 72-hour schoolwork, have minimal party time, right? Have your beer, pound your beer and go back to the classroom, but stay the fuck away from New York, because New York is not for intellectuals. And that's the message I drive forth today. I'm on my way out because this place will consume. This place would kill me. Look, you see that? You see that consistent runny nose? This place is going to fry me till there's nothing left of my doctoral career. This place is going to drug me until there's nothing left of my doctoral career in my cranium, until the available neurons that I created in a 10-year period of my life, in which I was my most mature. The 140 books that I read, plus scholarly literature, all of that capacity to understand, to reflect, to synthesize, to remember, is being thrown away by a liberal. It's being thrown away by a Hispanic. It's been thrown away by a nigger that does not respect body integrity, does not respect our temple, doesn't comprehend the amount of knowledge there are in some individuals. Like he doesn't know, how it triggered. A library personnel yesterday was triggered because I was talking about this when I sat there. I woke up and I said that this city would drug out. This city unknowingly will drug Albert Einstein and not give a shit. Oh, dope Albert Einstein, right? Albert, by mistake in this generation, might sit in the train, right? Pass out. The leader in relativity and physics, just sit down, and in mathematics, just sit down on the train, wake up drugged and fried, and his neurons burning, crispy, until areas of the brain are non-existent. Memories, distinct connections that we create when we engage in learning, right? And he'll fry that motherfucker. God forbid he wouldn't be able to to achieve the level of mathematics that he achieved back then. But that's how bad the city is. It will take an intellectual and shit it out, dumb as a rock, with no capacity, and then they think they're still smart, right? The current demographic still thinks that they're the shit, that they got money, that they're rich, and nah, they're a danger to society. They're a danger to people like myself. They pose a real threat, an intellectual threat, a brain threat, a health threat. Health. It's not just the brain, right? It's not just about being exposed to drugs that will destroy your neurons, right? Your memory, your focus, your speed, your neural activity, but your health too, right? Exposing you to cancer, the popcorn lung, the AIDS, the syphilis, the whole rainbow. Because people don't give a shit when they're a little bit too liberal. Give me a second. Let me finish my hair, and we'll start with the stock market today at 6:45. They don't care. They're not going to give a shit. They're going to continue acting the way they are until there's drug reform and they ban all drugs again. That's the bare minimum. Or the city goes full retard and legalize fentanyl and cocaine and heroin, right? It'd be the next step, right? It's already stupid. The city's already stupid. The city already fried most of its population. Everyone is hooked on phonics, right? The majority, 50% of 8 million people. So there's 4 million drug users in the city that have consumed at least cannabis, right? And then you unleash cocaine and heroin into that subway system so that people can be hoarding ounces of fentanyl in their pocket, because that's a full retard, right? That's the end result. That's what comes after. And then imagine, no, Columbia University should leave from this city at once. At once. I want to be a spokesperson in Columbia and say, the new law is going to legalize cocaine and fentanyl in the city. We're going to close down this city, and we're going to put New York City, Columbia University in huts in Hoboken, so that at least they got some space to breathe out there when they come outside, so that they're not exposed to junkies, and maybe move into Hoboken, maybe move into New Jersey where it's still clean. So I would take NYU, I would take Columbia, I would say, we're relocating our university temporarily until these changes are rethink and rethought about legalizing hard narcotics in the city, and we are going to operate in New Jersey just to protect the student population. Because forget about it. If people is just fried, if people is looking to fry other people, literally fry them, right? Imagine what's going to happen to the city once they have insane amounts of narcotics on them at all times. Forget about it. It's not good. It's not safe. Turning to Seattle in this motherfucker. It's not good. It is not good. And San Francisco is not Seattle, boy. Don't you forget that. It's serious, bro. It's serious. What's happening in the city it's a menace. It's dangerous for people like me. People who are smart need to get the fuck away out of here. I took too long. Some of my neurons got burned. Out of some million in connections, right? Some of them got burned, but I know I'm gonna recuperate them eventually. But we must go. Intellectuals have to leave the city for their own freaking health. Like, no, out. All this fucking drug consumption around us and shit. And it's black and Hispanic. Wherever black and Hispanics run the show, you gotta leave. If you're smart, you gotta go, baby. You cannot be out here having to deal with these mongoloids full of drugs and shit overnight, like with these double lives they be living. It's not funny, bro. And then they think that they smart in school, high as fuck. They ain't. They even remember shit. They on Chat GPT. I didn't have GPT. I finished 10 years in college, and Chat GPT came out at the 10th year. Like Chat GPT came out the 10th fucking year, bro. It's not funny. Let me finish this hair real quick here. Gotta finish this. But for real, bro, this city needs reform. Reform, right? If you're gonna legalize all drugs, give us guns, please. Give us, give us fucking guns. You know, I want to be packing that heat. Give us guns, right to carry, open arms. That way, they might be able to put some respect on people. You know, might be able to control their ass. You know, let us wield a pistol or something. Open carry, a rifle, something. Give us something in return. Be equal with it, not just be 100% left. Because once they legalize narcotics, it's full retard. It's just full retard. The people that are already retarded are gonna die, bro. They're gonna die. They are gonna die, bro. It's not funny. It's not laughing matter, bro. Gonna be croaking left and right. The libs are gonna be croaking, but I mean croaking like that in the motherfucker. It's gonna be cannabis supply is gonna be laced with narcotics. It's gonna be a nightmare out here. Nobody wants to be close to that. Nobody wants to be close to that, right? It's, at least give me a sword, something. To have to deal with these dope addicts, you know? It's Excalibur on my motherfucker, King of Hyrule, all right? Link to the past. Guess give me a sword, something to defend my ass from these people. They see that I mean business, you know? Or we're gonna have to walk around with masks on. We will. We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to. In this city, bro, people who live here, once they legalize all narcotics, they're gonna be at risk of fucking addiction. They're not gonna know they're addicted until they fried. For real, it's already happening now. It's already happening now on the train. They're not gonna know until they're addicted, until they realize they're really addicted. Like, oh, I'm drowsy. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I got diarrhea. Oh, I want to sleep all the time. Oh, this. Oh, that. Well, if you have these signs, right, you put it on national television. If you have these signs, you might be experiencing fentanyl withdrawal. Please visit our drug and health administration centers to assess the level of drug addiction, the level of contamination in your body. Right? Yeah. Catch these people in the act and shit. See what they do. Fuck ridiculous. Let me see if I can get to the neck hairs here. I got him, I think. Gotta get to the neck hairs. To the neck hairs. To the neck hairs. Serious, bro. Dangerous as a motherfucker out here. It's time to go. Shoom, in a bus. Fuck out. And if I realize that the North has fallen, civil war, bro. It's gonna be the only way to get these people out. Civil war. Civil fucking war. The real one. The number two. And they're gonna think that they could stay here by force. They're gonna think they're gonna be able to stay here by force. I swear to you, they will. They're gonna think that, oh no, we got the right to stay in our country. We are all immigrants. Get a rifle and shoot the military. They're gonna think about that, bro. And that's gonna be too late. It's gonna be too late. The border is not free. The borders of countries should be respected. And that's when you start leaning rest. You know, that's when you start leaning to the right. It's like, yo, I don't want these people. I don't want to listen to Spanish 24/7 in my neighborhood, bro. You know, we know the language, but it's not to push it on everyone like that. It's not to, take a shit and listen to that language and shit. Like, no, we don't want to listen to that motherfucker. We don't want that in the bathroom, right? Taking a shit, you want to hear English. You want to hear people speaking English, but nah. The environment they create, forget about it. And it goes par and par. Once everyone is speaking Spanish, blacks are on top. They've already taken over. African Americans take over once Hispanics take over. Minorities start leading the way. And guess where you go? Guess to the drain. Neurons to the garbage. Inappropriate touching, theft, crime like a motherfucker. Hell no. I think I want to comb it up today. I think so. There's something on it. There's still that glue on it. Feels glue, like glue. Looking like a demon out here today, like the devil. Need a 45 ACP. Need a super special or something real powerful like that today. Let's do it up. Where's the scrunchie? I had the scrunchie. Where is it? Fuck. Oh, here it is. A girl scrunchie for an all black suit. For real, bro. Serious out here. It's not a game. It is not a game, bro. It is not a fucking game. All right. But this let's start stock market talk. Yesterday, I made a pretty decent call option at the end of the day. It was worthwhile. Definitely made a lot of money on 20 contracts yesterday. Let's start the start. Let's start the stock market shit. What color do I do look better? Like this? In the rain? In Mars? In my apartment? Hold on. I don't like that graying out the background. Studio light. No, there we go. Much better. Let's start open this motherfucker. Let's start open. All right. Treffis. I have no idea what the fuck Treffis is. Where are we? 18. Let's see if we made a new high in the AM or we are triple witching at the top. Let's see. So far, no new high. Let me see if there's a significant gap up here. All right. We stayed par and par. We got 1922, 1883. It might be 17 today. No, wait, we made a new high here. 1975, 1920. All right, how far are we next to the key level? Let's go back to let's go look to our handy splendy. On top, right here. You see those colored lines? We hit that. 1979 is what we hit on SPY, but it's not reflecting yet here. 1975 today on the new candle. That was the high of the day. 1975. So we are on this key level. We went a little above this key level. I'm gonna add I'm gonna add all-time high levels to the, and these are old. These always change, but I'm gonna use these as reference. What arms wide open. What's his name? All-time levels. Under the sunlight. Welcome to this place. All-time high levels. All-time. This one. So that we see how far above we went to that cyan color line. And eventually we're gonna be above that motherfucker. See them, right? You see that line right above it. That's a key level. It was touched yesterday. How important is that? How important is that 1971? I don't know, but we touched it and it immediately flunked. Where's the next one? The next one is 2155. Are you sure we're going to 2155? Or we already hit top of the line? You know, did we hit top of the line or not? I already feel we hit top of the line. I think it's over from here. I don't think we're going to 621. And if we are, shoo, shoo, up here, 1975. When arms wide open. Look up at 3 in the morning. Horrible. My PayPal is always getting the shit beat and pissed out of it. Always. It's always fucking shit in the bed, bro. It always keeps digging a hole on itself. We did good until yesterday that I bought a new suit, but I had to. I was gonna get cockroach eggs living in my motherfucker. I swear to God. I was gonna get cockroach eggs living in my motherfucking suit. On my mother. I was gonna get a motherfucking cockroach infestation in me. On me. Swear to God. If I didn't change that shit. It was gonna fester something nasty, but and I ended up buying a small one too. So I should have done a big one, but I went modern and thin, like if I had abs, like if I was a sexy boy. We identify the path. Thank you. I got a motherfucking transfer an eye and a leg into PayPal. An eye and a fucking leg. I made 290 last month. I've spent like 175 plus. Let me make the calculations of the money I spent yesterday and to see if I covered with previous month spending. Let me see if I covered it with previous month spending. 175 plus 10 in Amazon Go plus 3 for a beer plus 13 for uh, uh, 13 plus Popeyes that I had yesterday that made me vomit. 201. So I keep $90 out of the money that I made last month. But I still have to put my checkings back in baseline. Got to put them back in baseline. So that's 201. And baseline is, all right, 818 minus 1120. 402. Like a fucking piece of shit. Right, but in reality, tomorrow there should be another 100 there, another 120. So it drops this value to 290, the same amount I made this month in deficit. In deficit. But, right, this minus 402 is going to drop this account from a 418 back into the 600 level. It's so hard to get out of that level, right? Minus 418 all time, no, into the 800 level. 800, because I got to move 400, right? There's going to be a 700 level, usually 630 or something, $630 minus all time high, basically surplus. Once I reach that level of 600, right, on my PayPal, I am in surplus of funds within that account because I fix accounts. My goal is putting money back in the accounts that money went missing. And this one's going to grow an additional $100. It will. So let's do it. Let's just transfer the money into the account now. Let's do it. 402. That's what I'm going to move from PayPal to checkings right now. From PayPal to checkings, baby. It was so beautiful seeing that 2,000 there. And I'm going to see 2,000. I know I will tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll see 2,000 there. But there's going to be one day in which I'm not going to see the 2,000 key level on my PayPal. That's not good, Transfer to my bank. Not now. 3 business days. 402. All right, let's confirm it's 402. Let me check out the checkings. right? -2. That's it. 402. Stinks. Stinks. Let's go. With arms wide open, boom. Under the sunlight. I have to do that, baby. Looks horrible, but it will come back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna be back at the 2,000 level plus $20. We're gonna be okay. We're always okay. We always come back. I don't know if my tie is in the right area. I always feel that it's crooked. Piece of shit, dark, dirty as fuck tie. But I like it. It's thin. It's thin, baby. It's thin and dirty. With arms wide open on the sunlight. Let me check if Sarah came back. I'm already afraid that my friend Sarah Khan in China got sent to a concentration camp. Discord. Damn, it's still 7 in the morning. Log into that shit. Sarah, did you come back from vacation? I'm waiting. It's 2 days. With arms wide open. I took the walk to Poland. That's so funny. Nah, bro, we gotta kill. You know, how do we solve it? We solve immigration, right, by enticing a revolution, sticking an illegal immigrant in office, president, inciting a war, right? Starting a civil war, and then dropping lie on their graves. That's the only fucking way you could get rid of anyone that doesn't say they aren't born here. Like, where you from? Mexico. Boom, dead. Where you from? Africa. Boom, dead. Where are you from? China. Boom, dead. So on, so on, and so forth. And I know the South, and I know the South will do the dirty fucking job. But the real goal would be to put them against each other. You know? Like a civil war, right? Let them overthrow like they done globally. That means giving up the White House to the enemy, right? Then entice the arming of citizens against Marines and the Army, like in California, get Mexicans to shoot at some grunt, then we take over again. Then we get reasonable cause to blow them up into pieces in a land war. And we might win. We got the guns. Unless they get tanks from Russia, right? Oil from Maduro, nukes from China, etc. Unless the invading force overthrowing America uses the help of another superpower, both California and Texas will finish the job. They will take out the president, as he will be a puppet to majority illegal immigration. That's my MO right there. That's my that's my pill right there. The red pill. The red pill. The only way. The only way, because the second, right? The second best way I see evacuating New York is to clear every building. And that would take forever. Basically, anyone along a major road goes outside. Anyone that stays indoors get arrested unless it's the elderly. And everyone on the street in this long line gets verified and ID'd by NYPD. Like, everyone has to stand outside in the sun with their papers, right? Social security, real ID, be confirmed by a soldier, and anyone that's outside that does not have that, well, to a bus, relocated to a concentration camp and or concentration camp. Hey Siri, can you read this for me?
Nice to meet you. Did you know most birds can see more colors than humans?
Yes, this is what I said. Basically, here on Wall Street Bets, we're looking by the sun how we can solve the problem. Remember, it's an invasion. People got to accept it. They're okay with their friend from abroad, but they're breaking the law. They're taking advantage of a country, and they're relocating people that are understanding, people that know that it's incorrect to do that to a to do that to a city. It's like I told my father last night, right on camera. It's like you being in Puerto Rico, right? And you go to Econo or you go to Church's Chicken, and they talk in English to you, All right, and you're done. Let me get a pecho wrap. Let me get en español. Let me get dame un pecho wrap, dos bicos y una papa grande con una soda de China. And they start talking you English at the drive-thru, and you're like, what the fuck? In Spanish. The fuck? I want food in Spanish. They're like, no, we speak only English here, and you're in PR. You know, that's what's happening here, and you're in PR. Or you go to the supermarket, you're like, yeah, where's that? ¿Dónde está la lata de tomate? Where's this tomato paste? Where's the tomato paste? And they start speaking to you in English. And most, by majority, Puerto Ricans are not fluent in English, but they create this. And unfortunately, once they come in by force, whew, all you hear, like I said, what I'm looking for in my direction that I'm heading is that 90% Spanish. If all afternoon in the station, on the train, and in the general area, all I hear is Spanish, I'm getting out because I know that city, that local area has also fallen. So this is what I said. Tell you how the big beautiful bill referred to border security, blah blah blah, tax reform, and it's about immigration and border control. Supporters, right? The immigration and support increased border enforcement, but the border is not gonna fucking do nothing. A wall is not gonna do nothing to these people. These people is going to keep fucking coming, and they're gonna come even more the more you mention that you're gonna put a 50-foot wall with a M240 Saw Bravo machine gun in that motherfucker to anyone that gets close. Like like Germany and shit. Like if we were at war, they'll come. They'll still push themselves in here. They'll figure it out. They'll come on a boat if they could. So this is what I said. We solve immigration by enticing a revolution, right? Covert ops, CIA shit. We solve immigration by enticing a revolution, an armed one, sticking an illegal immigrant in office, right? Some Muslim that doesn't have papers, and Obama, right? And Obama was someone that Nigeria, Hawaii, nobody knows where Obama came from, someone like that. Entice, right? Where by sticking an illegal immigrant in office, in which they are all gonna vote for, right? President, starting a civil war, and then dropping lie on their graves. It's the only way. They're not gonna leave when you tell them. They're gonna still come. Right? That's the only way. That's basically the first sentence that I said there as a doctor. Immigration by enticing a revolution, sticking an illegal immigrant in office, right? Some Mexican or whatever in office, right? Start a civil war and then doing the job or fighting the war, right? That's the only fucking way. You could get rid of anyone that doesn't say, right? That's the only fucking way you could get rid of anyone that doesn't say they are born here. That doesn't say they are born here, or does say. I think it does. I made a mistake there. Made a typo. That does say that they are informed here. Like, where you from? Mexico. Boom. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. Once it gets real tight out here, once they start getting violent in the cities, right? When they start thinking that they could take over the country via numbers, they're gonna New York, Americans are gonna come back. They're gonna come back with force, and it's gonna be dangerous, right? Where you from? Africa, pow. Where you from? China, pow. They're gonna pop them, right? That's civil war starting. Those are geographical, tactical areas of the South, places in which America, Republicans are gonna get a stronghold. The far right is gonna get a stronghold before they turn into some European country, right? So on and so forth. I know that the South would do the dirty job, Go south, right? Delaware south, not Florida, above Georgia, South Carolina, and inland Tennessee, Memphis. They're going to get down and dirty when it comes to defending the country, right? But the real goal would be to put them against each other, right? So you get the right and the left, and you make sure that an illegal immigrant in California wants to pick up a rifle and shoot a Marine. That's how you entice them. That's how you get them against each other. You got to get them against each other. So in California, right, with the Marines or whatever throwing rocks, instead of throwing rocks, it's rifles, right? And you get real lethal force in return. That's when you start you know, making the situation public. Like, oh shit, they shooting them out here, blah blah blah, fish in a bucket, which is technically what it will be, fish in a bucket. So, how do you call it? Where were we? Entice the armings of citizens, right? Put them against each other, like a civil war. Let them overthrow, like they done globally, right? Egypt fell, Albania fell, uh, Algeria fell, the Middle East fell, right? Make them feel like they overthrew the American government, like they done with the whole world, like the concept of democracy, which means, right? They flooded the country. That's my strategy. That's how I see it as a viable strategy. Make them feel that they really took over the United States. Make them feel they overthrew the country, right? Make them riot, man, two flags waving it together. Make it seem that they really took over, like they're a revolution, right? A new government that thinks about their needs or whatever, right? And then give up the White House. That's a factor. Give them the president. Give them control, right? Then they entice the arming of citizens against Marines, right? As all of this is happening, the revolution, there's some resistance among states. Make them grab a gun. Make an illegal immigrant grab a gun in California, thinking that he could face the American military. And that's how you start. That's how you begin the cleansing, the purifying of the country, right? Arming against the Marines, California, right? Get them to shoot at each other, and you get the reasonable cause to get active, to do what you got to do. And then from there you move into a land war. You move cleansing. You move this cleansing that needs to happen from California to the East Coast, and you finalize it in Washington D.C. And it involves sacrificing the president at the end. At the end of a lot of people being sacrificed, right? A lot of people in the far left being sacrificed by the far right for undoubtedly the wrong reason, for not being in the right country. You take over, you lethally sweep the whole country left. You take New York, you flatten that motherfucker. You get the president and you pop him 3 times, and the republic gets over again. The republic stands, and then that flag, right? That civil war would have the major states involved. So it's gonna have 2 stars. I already know it. It's gonna have 2 stars, Texas and California. 2 stars. It's gonna be striped, right? It's gonna be a union between Texas and California. Get them out, because remember, this shit starts in California and Texas. Those are the primary states that we took from Mexico in the first place. We were at war with these people before, and they think the land belongs to them, right? So the goal is, right, red herring, giving the country up, making the illusion of democracy, them achieving probable cause, right? Achieving them going lethal, defending as an illegal immigrant in our land, a takeover, right? A mass invasion that turns lethal, and then you turn it around. And then you turn it around as the real red pill. The only disadvantage to this method that I said here, right? Then entice the arming of citizens against Marines and the Army in California, right? The Mexican to shoot at the Marines. You have reasonable cause to use lethal force, right? You start a land war, and we might win the war, right? Unless they get help from another country. So in the case that they have bigger numbers, right? That they could really overthrow California and Texas as we clean up house, as the South starts taking care of people that does not belong here, right? As certain states have really strong control on transit, on the roads, on where they're going to run to. Because trust me, they're going to run somewhere, right? It's going to be left and right. It's going to be left versus right, right? As we move in, the only way they could keep this land, right, the way they want it, because they think there's no borders, That's pretty loud. The only way they could keep this land when they think there's no borders is if some other country helps them, right? Like a multi effort of America's enemies after America has fallen. And you get Russia here, you get China here, you get Venezuela here, you get some other foreign army to help them. That's the only way they're going to have serious pullback. If not, Marines are going to sweep. It's going to be easy. They're going to be way too easy. It's going to be small militia, guerrilla armies, right? Some the defectors, some military defectors, but the cleansing, the purify the United States will be possible just by the military, and it takes two states, the states that are in contact with the invading force, with the country that continues to pump illegal immigrants into the country, because they're not coming in through planes, they're not coming in through TSA, they're coming in through the border. So that's basically the direction that I see this viable in working. Let's repeat once again, right? Staking them against themselves, making them think that they could defend themselves against the military, arming, right? Illegal immigrants arming themselves against our military, right? When being told to leave, when being told, right? When arresting them or whatever, turning violent, creating a false revolution, right? A false revolution. So that when you put a puppet in power, you put an Obama, you put some Mexican in the president, right? You put some Mexican, some illegal immigrant, some non-American person as the new progressive leader of the free states of America, not the United States, of the new states or revolutionized America, right? You get them against each other. We find probable cause, right? We make sure that they don't have help from other countries, that they don't have tanks, that they don't have weapons from Venezuela, that they don't have firearms, that they don't have firepower, that they don't have munitions from some other foreign country, that another country doesn't invade us at the same time, right? And then you flatten them like a pancake. You go field army and them motherfuckers. You go field army. You're talking about continental U.S. It's gonna take 4 generals to win the United States. Just 4. Just 2, 2 generals in California, 2 generals in Texas, and the citizens are going to take it over. The citizens are going to do what they got to do, and they're going to purify. And those people have really strong beliefs about that. And blood would be spilled. Blood would be spilled because you can't invade a country and think that you're doing it right. You're not supposed to be doing that to a country. I can't do it anywhere else, but they do it here. Nobody does it anywhere else. It only happens in the United States of America, in which all these people have this dream to be here, but they don't want to go. They don't want to do it the law way. They're lawless. And it's everywhere. It's Paris. It's everywhere. They're conquering the whole fucking world as we speak, right? And we would be maybe the last chip to fall or the first continent to fall to them, because they could take over France like that. The amount of Hispanics, the amount of illegal immigration and Hispanics that is in this country is enough to take Paris to themselves. And they're already over there. There's Dominicans already in Paris. There's Boceteo. There's already the language. How do you know your country's being overrun? You listen. You got to keep quiet with this. You just open your ears to your surroundings and you listen what language people are speaking, right? So if they're speaking something that you don't speak natively, there's an issue with your community. There's a big problem with that. That's the only way you're gonna know, right? If every day you're listening to that language, there's an issue. There's an issue. That's how you know. That's how you really know how big is the demographic shift in your area when everyone used to speak English, or you remember everyone speaking English, and now everyone is speaking Spanish. You go to the bathroom, everyone's speaking Spanish. Every day you come back in the same areas at night, everyone is speaking Spanish. They're drinking at a bar, you're drinking, having beer at a bar, everyone is speaking Spanish. Then when you start thinking, what the rational mind realizing that something is going on, you know, something is going on 24/7. It's not English speakers. Okay, you better start looking, right? If you want to stay, stay, but you better start looking elsewhere because you're in a state in which they're thinking about, they're not what you're thinking about, you know? They're not rationally sound in a decision of coming to the country. Maybe they're on vacation, maybe they're having fun, maybe it's just a provocation, right? A provocation looking to relocate you, looking at a place for live, looking to invest, looking to do whatever, but just listening. Just mira. That's all you gotta do. If it's you're right, if you're where you are used to be all English and now it's all Spanish, you're in a hot spot. You're in a trail. You're in a migration route. You are where they are. And it happens like that. It happens like that overnight. And it's every day you're gonna hear them. Every day. And that's when you know that you're in a real hot spot where these people are. And they're not going to go home. They're not going home. They're not going to go home. And they're not going to do it legally, you know. They're not going to look to get nationalized in Puerto Rico, you know. The traditional Dominican route, because Dominicans are smart. Dominicans gained that residency through us. They went to PR. They did their time in PR. They gained nationality over the laws that Donald Trump pulled back recently about, you know, birthright nationality or whatever. If your son was born here, then you're from here. So he rolled back the laws that Dominicans took advantage of NPR. And how long? Less than 20 years later, they all here. The Bronx is all theirs. They were first NPR. Their family started NPR, so then that's permissible. They took advantage of the law and they made it to the United States. You know, they made it to New York. Maybe they like it here. You know, conditions were not good for them NPR, but they took over. They took over they took over the Bronx. It's over. No, 100%, 100%. Boom, took over. They're not leaving. They're gonna be there forever now, unless they find the next target. And that's where the danger is. Where these people find the next target could be your town next. Though they could vacate the city at any moment in time, right? And to mention, right after I said what I said, right? The what we need, what could be plausible to work in eradicating the immigrant threat in the country, you know, to bring control back to the situation. The first version includes bloodshed. The second still involves the military, right? So what do I suggest as a method? You put everyone in the street, right? You need a lot of manpower to clear every building in New York City. There's millions of room. It will take months to clear every building, to stop, to make checkpoints in every exit, to seal Manhattan, to seal all 7, 8 bridges in and out of New York City, right? Seal them. So you start making checkpoints, right? You start by simple, right? These are simple and easy ways to start looking for them. You start checkpoints at the bridges, make ginormous pileups, ID, Social Security. And when they don't have Social Security on their car, cite them to an office. And there'll be cops there to arrest them and take them home. Right? Quickly. Because, you know, regular Americans have a social. They'll have a card with it. And some of them are going to have illegal cards and illegal ID, and that's another factor. But that's how you start. You start by checkpoints, right? MTA checkpoints at the gate, at the entrance of entering the subway. Stand them there, put a table right in front, make a huge line, and pay ID. Social. Real ID, right? Verified ID. Real ID, social, Go. And then the final way, which is the most ridiculous one, is to remove everyone from a housing building. Let's say this building, which is full of people, maybe 1,000 people in here, right? Remove everyone outside, put them in a caterpillar, right? Caterpillar formation, right? Put them in a caterpillar formation and have them and check their ID at the door. ID, right? And send them back up. But you have to clear the building first. You have to clear. You have to empty residential buildings. You have to empty every building, every residential, every door in New York City, including the elderly. Everyone has to be vetted. It's the only way. We did it in Afghanistan. If we could do it to a whole country like Afghanistan, we could do it in New York City. It's gonna take time. We cleared every fucking door in Iraq too. We did that shit. We went in that motherfucker. Jihad? Where's jihad? We did that. Door by door. Complex by complex. All that shit was searched. All of that shit. If we couldn't search it, it's because it was crowded and there were cities. But we searched a lot. Those procedures are in place. It's just target. Make a cone to the population and create checkpoints around them. So the bridges, the street, the MTA, make them, force them to walk, pull people from buildings, check their IDs, check their forms of identification, and then we could get we could verify how bad is the problem. Because you're gonna get buses out of here. You're gonna get. Remember, there's 100,000 people that disappeared from the system. 80,000 were in the shelter, and 80,000 went boom after getting money. They were given money, SNAP, shelter. 80,000 of 100,000 went disappeared from the New York City program after being rolled in here with buses. But I mean, seriously, like, poof, where are they? On the street? Around. They disappeared from here. And I'm going north, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to find them up top. And I'm going to report back. You guys are going to see me on stream. You guys are going to see me on stream. Once I find that there's another hotspot, another Hispanic hotspot, either in Rhode Island, either in Connecticut, either in Boston, I'm going to report back. And I'm not going to stay there for too long. I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to stick around, I'm not going to stick around where they are. Because anything can happen at any moment to you here. Anything. Anything and everything. It's not a game. They think it's a game. They think it's a game. They think it's a game. Overthrow a country. They think it's a game. Like, yeah, we can do whatever we want. Nah, bro. Not a game. Laws got stupider over time in the United States. They're stupid now. They don't care what they do now. They don't care. They do whatever. 7:44. Where are we? 18. We're right here. We got a short position sell signal at 1 in the morning. Where are we? Below channel is probably going to be bullish today. We stay below bullish. If we stay below channel, no, we're above channel right now. We got to see where we end up at 9 o'clock. It is not a fucking game, bro. What they're doing to the city is not a game. It's driving people away, dangerous. They just rose. They just increased the amount of threats within the city. You just know that you're not in the United States anymore. Why? Because you're listening. You're like in some other foreign country when you're around them. It's not good. That's not funny. That's not funny. And I'm not going to any other of these hotspots. If I'm going somewhere, I'm going where they're not at. Where they are not at. A little nervous, tell you the truth. I'm a little nervous having to leave the city, but I got to come out of my safe zone for my own health. It's not healthy here. It looks healthy. It looks clean. It looks pretty. But there's drugs everywhere. I can't be where there's high frequency of drugs. Can't be next to that. It's just gonna fry me, make me dirty. Looking bullish already. Looking to drop below the 18th level. If we drop below the 18, it's probably gonna be it's gonna be bullish again. How bullish, I don't know, but it's already aiming. If we stay below this channel, I know you guys can see that. Hold on, let me change the angle of the camera. Right, you see that? So if we stay under this cloud right here, we stay below this area right here, dig deeper, it's gonna be real bullish. It's gonna be a pretty bullish day. Gonna be right back to go test the 19th or the 18th. Pre-market is making most of the move though. Pre-market is making most of the move. I woke up at 3 in the morning. Was a bad idea. I think it was a bad idea, but I don't care. I'm already close to work. At least spend some time online and maybe pull a couple dollars out. Gotta mute the mic. I'll be right back. I was muted. I had a really long conversation. You guys saw me speak, and the show is muted, but it's good. It's good. Talking about, well, genetic diversity, defending genetic diversity globally, and how the genetic diversity of the immigrating race is not that pure, it's not that pristine. Why? Because we were descendants from slave trades. We're really mixed. The old world is not mixed. America is, eh, there's still some remnants of old world, right? Genetics, but we're primarily mixed. But the illegal, the immigration is getting to the old world, and that's where genetic diversity must be controlled. Where basically those countries should have tall as fuck fences, like animals in the zoo. The peoples, right? You could divide the peoples. Hold on, I got something in my fucking eye, like if they're blowing shit at me. The genetic diversity of the old world, Europe, Russia, all that. The fences must be big. Like if each individual citizen from that country was you know a certain type of animal, right? Animal, flora, fauna, right? Like an animal at the zoo, but it's still human, but it must have a wall, right? But right, the immigrating force, like the movie Aliens, the xenomorphs, which were created by humans themselves to improve labor in the fields and blah blah blah. Were made up of criminals, of people from Africa or whatever. This South, basically, the United States and this corner South of South America has 30 fucking countries in them. The old world, four. The old world, right? Irish people have 4 or 5 people. You check their genetic diversity. They don't have that many. They don't have 35 races. They're not deep in Africa. They're not rooted, geographically all over like most of the Caribbean and the lower state, all this corner, right? So when you got the president of illegal immigration is allowing, right, a mutt procreate with a pure race and then disappear it off the face of the planet, right? And you see the mutt, right, the illegal immigrant as the face hugger, boom, right? In the alien, what's gonna happen? It's gonna procreate a baby. What's that baby gonna got? It's not gonna get the same percent. That percent's not gonna be there. It's gonna be mixed, right? It'll be lucky if it gets the genes of the mother or the father in this case. It'll be lucky if that genetic diversity, that strength from that peculiar race goes there, right? So you're gonna get a German Shepherd that's gonna be half Labrador or half Chihuahua, and think that way globally. If you don't control the border, if you don't control the fences at the zoo, being humans that are capable to sleep with whomever, right? You're gonna lose diversity altogether. So the president is that genetic diversity globally will take a nosedive if you don't put a tall enough fence, if you don't put a rifle on the barbed wire, and if you don't control not Sephardic Jews, because there should be another term for illegal immigration, because they're not Jewish, they're not Sephardic, they're not how do you call it? What's the name? I forgot. Ashkenazi Jews, right? They're not people that are escaping Israel based on issues or changes in leadership. There's some other type of right, some other type of name that scientists are going to give them later on, in which are from this area of the world looking to be over there, changing the language so that you can hear them, and overall destroying global diversity in areas in which they could, because not every country is going to allow the mass migration of people like the United States is doing. It's only here. It's only here. They don't care about the old world. Some of them, the most dangerous types, like the Dominicans, are in France, right? Those are real dangerous. Why are they in France? I don't know. Boceteando, having fun, pounding homo, bebiendo homo, comiendo, jodiendo en Francia, metiendo, dándole tabla a una francesa por allá, bro. What are you gonna get? France, right? Genetical diversity over time in France, bigger communities, greater Hispanics, more amount of people that have less genetic diversity is going to take French diversity and it's going to give it a nosedive. It's going to go boom. Why? Because a couple Dominicans back in the day found out that French has beautiful blonde women, the ones they all like, the ones that disappeared from Puerto Rico. It's serious. It's serious. It's deep concern. Immigration is deeply rooted in every facet of human life: language, genes, race, diversity. And if you don't control it, if you think that it's oh yes, let him in, let him in. It doesn't have consequences. It's up to you. But to me, I know there's real, deep rooted consequences. And some countries defend that with an iron fist. Russia is not going to allow the old world to come in here. They could be knocking at that door. They could be a million Dominicans at the door of Russia. Let us in. They're not going to let them in. We could go there in the millions. Russia, let us in. They're not going to let us in. China, the same thing. They're not going to allow us in there. They're not going to allow us to free roam. They're going to identify us. They're going to hear us speaking on the phone. They're going to single us out, and we're going to be exiled. We're going to be a prisoner of war. We're going to be they're going to turn our ass around and put us on a plane back here. But we're taking it too far. We're letting liberalism and progressive laws take it way too far. Just taking over. They're allowing the world to take over, and once they take over, then I think that some cleansing is going to happen. I already predict some form of cleansing should happen soon, because the government should not be able. The government knows that if it doesn't have control of it, regardless of how much money it makes, right, GDP or whatever, regardless of how much money it's making. We see how they're trying to control the money they send out the country, right? They send millions of dollars abroad. So they're trying to control them. If they're gonna come here, right, they better keep the money in here or whatever. They better buy in here instead of sending millions to go build a home in Mexico or in Dominican Republic or wherever. But see, they're figuring out ways to stop them. Because if not, we're all gonna be mutts. Italian style, you know, mutts. Nobody gonna be Italian no more. Italia gone. Italia gone. The French, beautiful buzzing, beautiful women gone. All brown, all Dominican, all African, all Somalian, all dark. No white women in there. Nobody beautiful out there anymore. And that's what happens. That's what happens. That's what I said. That's what happens. It just they do whatever they want, like roaming dogs. Like roaming dogs in the hood, go left and go right and get everyone pregnant, have new babies, and the previous generation, the genetic diversity of the world, just everyone's going to be the same, and they like it that way. Luckily, the Brazilians have not left their country. Brazilians love Brazil. They're good. They're honest people. Those are, well, no matter how bad it gets in Brazil, they're gonna stay there. But if they were to go out, we're all gonna be Brazilian, because there's definitely way more Brazilian out there than there is illegal immigrants in New York City. There's way more. That's a ginormous country. So luckily, they still love Brazil. They want to keep it in the border. They have strong identity. They're, it's in there. They're not gonna go out. No matter how bad it is in there, they're gonna stay inside. But if they were to have ridiculous problems in Brazil, they're gonna end up outside. They're gonna end up elsewhere, and then everyone's gonna have some Brazilian Portuguese roots out there. A lot of that, by a long shot, because they have way too many people. It's just fucking, that's way too many people in Brazil. They're gonna take over. Those people will dominate the world genetically. I'll be like, what's going on? Hold on, where's this one?
These are not nasty thoughts. This is
It's
you
for
gotta
real.
understand the law and what
Hold on.
constitutes the violation of law by a progressive or illegal
Yes,
immigration.
progressives.
It
Progressive
sets a
laws is good
dangerous
for votes.
precedent.
It's probably the best, probably the most useful route. Democracy, the Democrat Party, like, oh, we need people to vote. Yeah, more money for them. Woohoo! Vote. That's it. Power. They did their job. Uh, uh, I'm really tired, bro. I'm dying. I'm not tired enough to pass out in a public library, but I know it's gonna be real uncomfortable out there when I get out the library today, and I need a place to crash a stat. But I mean, like, once I get out the library, I'm gonna want to sit. I want to open this up. I'm gonna remove my jacket. I'm gonna put my head in that bag and fade out. And I can't drink from today on. I gotta go into a dry spell. Why? Because I spent a lot of money this month. I gotta cover for costs. Hopefully make up at least 70 to $80 percent in savings month to month compared to last month. I need to save at least 70 at the rate that I spent up till I spent 175. So I gotta save at least 70 to make up for losses. 100, right? Save up $100 this month, July 2nd already. After spending the amount that I spent to cover and be safe with it. Cover and be safe. Let me pull out my handy dandy money pocket. I got headphones out here listening to music while market opens. One more hour. One more hour for silence. One more hour to be in a library so that they see me there nice and spiffy. It's looking bullish. Half an hour to go. Looking bullish. Ugh. Let's hope in the next half an hour it doesn't end up here. Es increíble. A little fun here with vengeance. Okay. We hit a key level. $19.75 was the key level on 5. 1975 was the key level on 5. We're probably going to 21. Yeah, Celestian vampire. He's pimping. Yeah. Oh, pimping. See, it ain't your type of pimping. Oh, pimping be a. I just seen a motherfucking. I just seen a motherfucking West Coast pimp, a blood pimp, not a regular crib pimp, a blood crib. His name was Shark. He looked like a. He, he built like a black woman. He's like, keep your eye on that bitch. But he was fine. He's looking, good looking. He got fucking straight black hair. He got the Colombian press, like the chemicals, keratin, like just take the hot press or whatever, get it real straight. His eyebrows done on point, all tatted in a Lamborghini. He's pimping. He wasn't looking like the traditional West Coast pimp, but it's the first time I seen him. His name was Shark. Keep an eye on the bitch. I was like, oh shit, sharp the shit, sharp the shit. Don Magic Juan and Snoop Dogg got that position, but it's the first time I seen a blood pimp. You got what's his name? What's his name? Hold on. Um, Cat Williams is a pimp. Don Magic Juan is a pimp. Snoop Dogg, they're the originals. Real deep rooted pimping out there in the East Coast, but I never seen a blood one. That's a blood one. He's like, he got kicked there, he got the stripes. A real one, right? Look at it. Look like a woman. Oh, he was missing with nails. Oh, he was missing with some French tips. Missing some fingernails, like a real motherfucking a real Pee Wee Herman in a bitch. A beauty salon pimping, real motherfucking blood pimping out there. I didn't know that was true. I didn't know until I seen one. It's the first one. First one I seen a real blood pimping out there. It's always crip pimping. Didn't think it was possible. It was. It was. We seen one in the wild out there. Keep an eye on them bitches. He looked Hispanic too. He wasn't black. Looked like a strong black independent woman with that hair. I mean, straight like. That was funny as a motherfucker. That was real funny. The time, 15 more minutes, baby. 15 more minutes. Strong independent woman. Hell, man. I'm like staticky, like a whole bunch of little hairs hit me. I was clean this morning, but sitting here, winter fibers everywhere. You see how the open is looking like. Well, you can see it on screen that we're below. That's good. That's good. The 9 o'clock candle is definitely below, right? Is that 9 o'clock candle where it is? It's bullish as fuck today. Bullish as fuck. Big bullish. We're going to 1920 today. I already sense it. I already feel that, we're 17, but we're going to 19 in a heartbeat from here. See, there's no supply above. I'm already aiming at a bullish open. Bullish open, sell the top. Bullish open, sell the top at 9:30. You might as well just open that shit now. As long as that's that in 15 minutes we don't move up and shit. We'll move up. You see where that 9 o'clock is? It's rare to see a 9 o'clock lower than the channel. This is bullish as a motherfucker right here. It's a bullish setup. MACD is kind of red, but I'm going with the flow. I'm going red. I'm trusting my instinct here. I'm going with 5 contracts and this is purple. All right. Why isn't it showing? Come on. Oh, it was yesterday. Verify picture. Blood pimp. Incredible. Incredible. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. All right. We're going to go in. We're already in on one. We're going to sell at the top. All right. Yeah, I got a red Lamborghini pimping. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Redunculous. Go for it. Buy at the top. Right. And now we're going to go for another car because we know it's hella bullish. We're going to go for the same car, right? But we're going to buy it at the dip. If it don't just happen already. Method 30. Buy at the dip. And we're going to wait for that one to hit. Because we can't set them both as OCO. Although I could do OCO to make sure that one cancel the other. Let's do OCO then. Elite. Do OCO here. OCO bracket. One cancel the other. Close this shit. Right? Hey, come here. Come here. Market. Market. Oh, plain market must not be. All right. We could probably do it here. Another 5. The buy on the dip. Camp it. Camp, right? 10 minutes. Dip. Through. 3. All right. Where's the hoodie? Where did I leave the hoodie? Hoodie in here? I'm missing the hoodie. Where is it? Boss player. Boss player. Boss player. Don, if the check if Don Magic One is alive. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, yes. Bishop Don Magic One. He's still alive. This ain't no skit. Hold on. YouTube. Don Magic One. Where is it? It's the video. What is it? What is it? I can't find it. Then. That video that old? Yes. Him feeding squirrels in his apartment. Ah. Hold on, boss player. No, that's not the one. Where is it? I know it's this one. It's all hear the song. It's a Don Magic game. Test. Okay. This big game. Motherfucker thing. Don't do the thing. I got that bounce to make that boot thing. Jesus. Jesus. Turn the music up. At the weekend. Dun, dun, dun. I spoke a few. It's the one right there. Got more price. Significant gap down. We going in. Hurry up. Thank you. Going up. Time for sure. We gotta get wild. What do we know about what happened yesterday? So we had a significant gap down. We reached that key level. Now that 619.75 might be aligned at pulling back to 590. So big shorts might be in play already. A significant gap down might be a big pullback coming in the stock market. Big one, not a little one, a ginormous one. A ginormous one, baby. God damn, I was so tight to this corner here. Thank you. Got about 5 more minutes before I leave. But you see the daily candle, you see the setup? Triple witch, triple upside. Hopefully we fill in above. Hopefully we don't flash crash. We hold the bullish angle, right? There should be a bull signal at 9 a.m. somewhere here, right? This 9 o'clock candle right here is a bullish signal. So as long as we don't flush down, we might go back up. And if not, it's over. Say goodbye. Say goodbye to the all-time high. But I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold because I'm gonna get another five. Another five contract is gonna go in at the dip. So if it dips again, hopefully it finds bottom here soon. It bottoms out at 616.6 and then back up. Está buena esa ola, mira para allá. Ave María. Qué macetazo y está abierta y un claje palo. ¡Pum! Una cosa bien espectacular. Vete para la puñeta. Esa ola está bien pesada. Un clase, una maniobra ahí, zurda, mira. Mira para allá. Looks AI though. No, wait, I think it's real, but it still looks AI. The splashing looks AI. The splashing right here looks AI. Ah, damn, I can't trust the wave now. Come on, Chito. El Camachote. How and where? Why is it going down and not going up? $10 to Boston? No way. Yung, that's my exit. Choo-choo. I gotta go, guys. I'll see you guys at 10:15 like always. Gotta go to the restroom too. Got a little potty break. See you soon.